Hi everyone, Runner Guy with a Sign here, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to make your very own sign, just like this one that I hold up when I run. Why would I want to make a sign like that, you ask? You take a sign like that out and walk, or run, or put it in your yard, your life will improve. And like always, please give the like button a hug, and subscribe. And remember that when I ask you to do this, it's not like every other YouTube channel that's asking you to do this. They're asking you to do that to promote their channel so they can make money, and that's fine. But this channel, I'm asking you to promote to do good. And any money it ever makes will be 100% for charity. And so this is unlike any other channel out there. All right, let's find out how to make a sign. The first place you're going to want to go is your local dollar store. And you should find a display like this with poster board, 2 for $1. And this stuff is high quality. On the flip side, I found this stuff at Walmart. Now it is cheaper at 25 cents a sheet, but it's a lot thinner. Just kind of like, cheap paper or maybe thin cardstock. So stay away from this. What you can find at Walmart and what you need next is heavy duty shipping tape. So I use this Scotch packing tape. Works amazing. You definitely don't want to go store brand on this tape. And if you want to buy it in bulk and get a better deal overall, Costco sells this 8-pack, which is a great deal. Okay, after you've been to the store and you've bought your poster board, you have your tape, you need a pair of scissors, and you also need your actual letters that you're going to be putting on your sign. Now, you can draw your letters on if you're a great artist to a really steady hand, knock yourself out. I didn't trust myself after failing a couple of times. So what I did is I actually opened a Google Doc and just put my letters in the size that I needed to, printed those out in landscape, and just cut them out this way. Now you'll notice yo creo is not English. It's actually the start of a phrase, yo creo en ti, which is Spanish for I believe in you, because I'm going to Spain. So I'm making this sign to have a Spanish version of my sign. But you can have whatever message you want on here, and really any way you want to do it. The reason why I'm showing you this way is because that's the way I used on my original sign. And it really is probably the most accessible way for everyone. Most people have a printer, and this just makes it easier to line up. The letters stay lined up more, and you will probably have a better time doing that. But again, you can use any method you want. The next thing you're going to want to consider is the size of your poster board. Now, this is full size. That came from the store. But what I did for mine is I cut mine down a little bit like this. So this is actually about 14 inches tall. And I cut off this whole bottom section. I didn't want the entire thing. It seemed a little too big. And one thing to consider as well, when you're outside and you're holding a big poster board, the more surface area, the more it's going to act like a sail and blow you around. So make it as big as you want to. I cut mine down 14 inches, but you could use the whole thing if you wanted to. All right, so now that we have the right size poster board, the next thing we're going to want to do is cut out our letters. And I just did it pretty DIY sloppy way of cutting them this way because it was the fastest. If you're doing it this way, you'll want to make sure that if it's part of a word that you cut a little bit narrower on the edge so you're not overlapping too much blank white with the next letter. So that would also apply here on the O, and make sure I don't have much space there. And that is because it's going to be going somewhere close to there. Okay, so what I've done now is I've actually taken a measuring tape and just kind of roughly measured to make sure that the letters are about spaced in the middle, about spaced equally between each other, each word, and also took a pencil and just made a little slight mark about where the middle of the sign was, so I can kind of figure out all that stuff. You don't have to do that, you can just eye it, but I kind of like to make sure it's pretty close. Okay, so I've put a little piece of tape at the top of each section. It's exactly where I want them, not too much tape to show through later. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So the next thing you're going to want to do is now tape all of the letters on, and you're going to want to tape it all the way around the front and the back in one piece of tape, and then go section by section. Here's an example. I'm starting on the end, put a piece of tape along the entire sign. I'm going to wrap this around the back, and then I'm going to take this and go all the way around to about here. I'm going to cut the excess off. done the first section, you're going to go ahead and I'm going to do the next section. Repeat about the same process. You want to overlap the tape just a little bit and go all the way back around on both sides and cut it about there. And then you're going to do section by section by section until you've covered everything. Now you want to make sure you're careful when you tape over the letters that everything's flat, but that's how we're going to seal it off from the elements. So as you can see, I've made it about this far to the Y, taping over. You definitely want to give it a good press and get any air bubbles and creases and things out, but it doesn't really have to be perfect. No one's ever looking at it up this close, and they usually see it while you're moving, and it usually doesn't matter. And there you have it. There's your sign. Again, you don't have to follow what I do here. You can make things fancier, you can make things better. You can have this laminated. I like this approach because it is cheap, it is simple, very effective. Here's my other sign. You know, after a year of not sealing it in the first place and having all kinds of issues, the letters didn't fade and things like that, but it served me well. And I made some mistakes, but didn't repeat those on the new ones. So there you have it. That's all there is to making a sign. It's really simple. And now I'd just like to remind you that you are the most beautiful person in the world, and I love you. And please believe me when I say this, because I have the sign to prove it. I believe in you.